So what went wrong? I set up this phone, which is the iPhone backup. Did the pre-show, brought in the webcam, and started the QuickTime show, which is usually what's going to go out. And I have the backup because I've lost 3, maybe 4 shows so far, and I don't quite trust it. I still don't know what's going wrong. It just says the QuickTime file is corrupted. That's it. So, we did the whole show, tried to save the QuickTime, and it would not save. The file was corrupted. So I said to myself, oh well, at least I have the backup. And I turned to the iPhone over here, and it's on photo mode, not video mode. So I lost the backup too. So here we are now. We've got to redo the show again. I've already got everything set up. This is for the members only on YouTube, hopefully, or if it doesn't record again, and if this does record, well then this will be the version that everyone gets. I don't know. I don't even know anymore. Let me reorganize everything. Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Monday the 19th. You already see. We inked this one. They're very busy, all characters all over the place. Explained overlapping and everything. And we did the penciling on this one. I have no idea what we're going to do now. Let's reset and let's get the QuickTime crowd in here. Everyone here on the iPhone, welcome. All right, we're going to start the QuickTime in 5, 4, 3. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Fido, your only source for bad dog go lie down. This is my second recording of Fido Live number 110 because we lost both the original and the backup of this recording. I'm not going to go over everything we lost. Let's just start again as if nothing happened. Here is Monday the 19th. You've seen this already from last week, but since it's the beginning of the week, let's start the whole thing and actually start the storyline. We have Felicia, Bo, and Fido. Felicia says, I need my own phone. Why? Fido has one. They might need to find me. Well, they might need to find me too. And as they're rolling on the floor laughing, it could happen. I like Fido walking backwards here. That's kind of cute. Okay, we put that aside. Here is the Tuesday, the 10th. We're carrying on with the same storyline of Felicia wanting a phone. Bo finally gives her a phone, one of those old headsets from a landline. Here's your phone. It's a little old, but it's a classic. Kind of big and heavy. They used to say, reach out and touch someone in the ads. While Bo turns to say, to get the cord, she says, it works. Smashing Fido with the phone. Of course. And it comes with a cord. And as she's strangling Fido with the cord, why did people ever go cordless? You cast out different points of view. Fido's theory of humor is looking at something from someone else's point of view. Okay, here is the Wednesday. We have Dino laying on the floor in the morning. He sleeps on the floor next to Fido's couch. I don't want to go to work today. All I do is stand in a hallway. Oh, want to switch jobs? I don't know. Come on, all I do is sit around and eat. And there he is at Fido's homework eating stand. I prefer the dog, actually. And we carry on with the same storyline as Fido is now going to Dino's job, dressed in Dino's little uniform. Isn't that cute? I'm covering for Dino today. What is it that you actually do around here? Now we're going to stop on this panel. It's always nice to have the secret entrance clearly marked. And back here is a litter box, the cat litter box for the supervillain Bobcat. Sort of a foreshadowing future events. As henchmen for the evil supervillain Cat Boss, we guard this hallway trying to keep you out. Well, I suppose I can do his job about as well as he does mine. And Dino's there at the homework eating stand. Yeah, kid, put it on the pile. $2. It's Mia Park. We haven't seen Mia in a while. She is a North Korean exchange henchman for the Cat Boss. Here is Friday, and where are they Friday? They're in the bar. And we have Bo, Dino, and Fido. And Dino says, thanks for covering for me at work this week. No problem. Wait a second. Fido doesn't do people favors. What was in it for you? Nothing. And we have Mia, and the Cat Boss is stuck in his litter box. How did the quick-drying cement get into my litter box? Yeah, there is the joke. I don't, yes, I know, quick-drying cement probably won't work this way. You have to ask yourself, how is the Cat Boss actually peeing in the litter box? We're assuming now he's removing his pants, and now he's stuck in the cement. Okay, plot holes. Sure. This is a comic strip. This is the world where you can slip on a banana peel or visible holes or whatever. All right, here is the Saturday. This is the one we inked on the lost episode that I just recorded. We have Felicia, Bo, Closet Cat, Fido, and later Dino. Closet Cat, what are you doing here? Nothing. I just missed the old place. Fair is fair. We're going to have 2 cats. We have to have 2 dogs. And Felicia grabs Closet Cat. Ow, 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 ow! And over here in the corner, Dino and Fido were talking. You never wanted another dog in here, did you? Fair is fair. We're going to have 2 humans. Well, it's not going to work this time. And we're going over to the Monday. Since what we're trying to do is the Saturday one should have some bearing on the Monday storyline. And we have the Closet Cat again with Felicia. And Closet Cat says, hey, looking good. What is that supposed to mean? Nothing. And why'd you say it? I'm sorry, I don't know. You look horrible. And Closet Cat's been beaten down thoroughly, and Fido approaches. You look horrible. Hey, thanks, Phil. I worked hard on it. So I decided to call this week Nuthin, because Fido says the line nothing, and also the Closet Cat says the line nothing instead of nothing the thing. And then when I did the stack of stuff, I was able to drag in the whole word nothing, so it made sense, right? Okay. Well, what do we do? We gotta ink that one, we gotta do the background on that one, we gotta ink that one. And that one's all done. Put this aside. So I was very far back in the week. Now having to do this show twice, I might catch up. But I guess all we can do is ink. We can't do any penciling. We can't do any... Very, very depressing when you lose your show. That's that. Now I'm looking at the computer. Whenever I move really quickly, it looks like the camera stops. So I'm betting 1,000% that the QuickTime will once again not work. We might have to, I'm hoping the backup works. All right, Irving on camera 1, why don't you move in a little bit closer because you're showing too much of the cartoonist shoulder here. Let's see. And I just hit the camera. Oh, this is a mess. How can I get these cameras in proper? Yeah, I eventually plan on getting a camcorder. Some of the finest camera work in the internet industry is on display here at Fido the Comic Strip, as you can tell. Oh, that's horrible. That works a little bit. And how are you doing on the backup? good as I can imagine. At least I got this camera out of my way, maybe I can work. Well, as you all know, cartoonists are the dirtiest, filthiest creatures on the face of the planet, so I gotta wear this, a glove, so that I do not transfer my filth to this page. And also because pencils I use generally smudge, smear, and cause all sorts of problems. For instance, if you might notice, hey, look at that mess. So I like to put down a piece of paper to protect the actual pencil work. And thus my stack of stuff. Rather than a blank piece of paper, it's often fun to have things to inspire you. Here is our chess champion, Gary Kasparov. Kasparov has been tweeting some funny stuff lately. He's a staunch critic of tyrants in Russia. You can guess who we're thinking about here at the moment. I like his chessboard. He seems to be using Mr. Putin as his bishops. So there's a tweet up there. The Kremlin spent over $109 million in over 2.5 years building fortifications. How did the Ukrainians get through it in less than a day? And Kasparov responded, because $108 million was stolen. Funny, Mr. Kasparov. Very funny. So, money burning. Speaking of burning money, pull this up. Mr. Beast, this is Jimmy Donaldson. He burned $100 million of Amazon's money. Thank you, Jennifer Salke. Trying to create a Squid Game-like show. Mr. Donaldson's Beast Games had a $5 million prize, and the problem that Amazon's having now is they can't sell ads. See, Donaldson fired his PR people, and suddenly he's getting bad PR. How's that work out? My advice to you, Mr. Donaldson, use some of that $100 million you got from Ms. Salke here and buy another PR, hire a new PR agency, Jimmy. You need it. Everything on the internet is talking about how bad Mr. Beast is. So Amazon may try to recoup their money with a tell-all Firefest-like documentary. Now, that sounds interesting, but Amazon, you're really burning through a lot of money, and I need you to deliver me a camcorder next month. So please, stay in business long enough to that. Jennifer Salke, she has no resume. I have no idea how she got her job, and she doesn't deserve her job. So, Alien Romulus is out. They did not quite burn all the money that Disney is classically known burning. And let's pull out the burn money thing out here. They only spent $80 million on this, which is fantastic. Remember when films used to cost less than $200 million back in the old days? Chris Gore has given this a 4 out of 10. He says the actors suck. There are 2 British actors. You can't understand a word they're saying. And I say, not a problem there, Mr. Gore. When this thing comes out on streaming in the fall, just put on English subtitles and you'll understand the Englishman. The second half of the film apparently sucks. Red Letter Media calls it a hodgepodge of references and callbacks, and they're suggesting that it may have, in fact, been written by AI. The only positive review I got from Mr. H, and Mr. H is like a really big Aliens fan. You can tell because half of his toys in the background are Aliens toys and pictures. So Mr. H calls it a standalone story and a, quote, decent film. Am I going to the theaters to see this? Now, I almost went to the theaters last week to see Deadpool versus Wolverine, but I didn't because they had that body-positive bitch from the Loki show. And I just did not want to see her. Believe it or not, just that she probably is only in the film for less than a minute, maybe, whatever. Yep, that's why I didn't go see it. I'm not going to go see this one because I hear the second half falls off. It's really not worth it. Yeah. I would normally wait for streaming on something like this. However, the big problem we have is Disney Plus. Now, most likely it's going to Disney Plus, the big burning money proposition that Disney has going on. And I'm never going to have Disney Plus, so I probably will never get to see Alien Romulus. Where would we be without our perennial Disney bonfire page? This is the oldest piece of paper I've got in my stack of stuff. The big news story is this poor woman who died of peanut allergies. She went to a restaurant, told them 3 or 4 times, no peanuts, no peanuts, no peanut allergy, blah, blah, blah. They gave her peanuts. Despite the EpiPen, she died in the hospital. The husband, the husband tried to sue everyone he could, and the lawyers pulled in Disney, they pulled in the restaurant owners, everything else like this. And the big news story is that Disney seeks dismissal of wrongful death suit because the husband got a free Disney Plus trial, and in the terms of service, it says you can't sue them, you have to go to arbitration. And that's what the Disney lawyers pulled up in court saying, well, we can't sue us, so he signed this thing saying, when all they had to do was say, this is not our fault, we don't own this restaurant, we just rent the property to the guy. No, that's yeah. If Disney, I've always thought, ever since Reedy Creek, that they had shitty lawyers. If there's not a bigger proof now that Disney needs to spend a little bit of that money they're burning on better lawyers, this is it. Oh, by the way, this is Keith Ledger apparently burnt $8.5 billion. Well, this represents about this is what $8.5 billion would look like, and this is coincidentally about the amount of money Disney has burnt on Disney Plus and all its films and all its mistakes in the past. Well, since COVID. Speaking of mistakes, of course, we spoke about Tiana's Bayou Adventure last week. But to add insult to injury now, they're going to demolish the Rivers of America in Tom Sawyer Island to put in a cars area. And I noticed that they're not really cars, they're SUVs. Rather than using the Cars characters that all the, well, they're, but, well, they look like this common car that you see on the road. You know, Dodge, Lincoln, Buick, Ford, Nissan, Porsche, BMW, Chevrolet, Honda, Mercedes, Infiniti, Hyundai, BMW, Toyota. They all make a vehicle that more or less looks the same. So, this is Cars Land. Here's the illustration. It's kind of blurry. You can't see much, but what I did note is they had all the smoke clouds from, you know, with Disney burning down the rest of their park. I guess if you want to look here, the Haunted Mansion would be around here, and then Splash Mountain or Tiana's Bayou Adventure, TVA, is somewhere over here, and the Cars Land will be here. You'll be able to see it from Haunted Mansion, and can't really tell much of what's going on here. I guess they're going to have a mountain here. Yeah, some sort of castle up here. Looks slightly Asian. But yeah, Disney has released this wonderful blurry picture of what they're going to do next. So I left Alien Romulus up for the hell of it. With a burning fire in the background. And I guess we can start our inking here. What I'd like to do here is do the word balloons first, give it a few seconds to dry, and then we'll go in and do the, characters. And we'll use the same brush we used last time. Hopefully it's still in good shape. Is it? Is it? I can't tell. They're both dry since then. Oh well, we'll use this brush. We're still using the Speedball Super Black, and my only criticism is they seem to have, there's another, it's not only the black pigment and water that they made this with, but they put a, like a shellac in the formula, and I think it's because no other ink bottle does this, but the shellac glues the cap shut. It's much worse on the plastic bottle than it is on the glass bottle. But I'm not a big fan of the shellac just because it's difficult. But it does make a pretty good flowing ink. So I guess you take the good with the bad, huh? Okay, I'm going to pull the camera in a little bit closer now because it's kind of in my way. And I know when I do this, I'm going to knock the other camera off because everything is nearly touching. Yeah. I think that's as well as could be done. Yeah. Get the cameras out of the way. And let's get some work done. I don't have as, looks like it. Yeah, it looks okay. The word balloons are simple, draw like parentheses. Get the camera. So usually I just come across stream of consciousness chit-chatty things to say while I'm working. I'm a little worn out. I think I've chit-chatted all I'm going to. So I spent 8 hours listening to the audio book of Warhammer, the Lazarus one. I don't know the title of it. The titles really matter. But it was on YouTube. I guess it was an audio book that someone pirated and put on YouTube. And I've been noticing a lot more pirating of stuff appearing on YouTube, where poor Gary Beagler gets shut down if he plays a Amazon promotional preview. There are people out there showing whole films, like all the crap that's on Disney Plus that disappeared. You can now watch for free on YouTube until they get copyright struck. So I got to see the original Avengers film. And I got to tell you, I loved this film when it came out. I bought the DVD, and at that time, where in the house I was living in, we didn't have cable in the bedroom, so I put a TV in there with just a DVD player, and I played the Avengers film. I've seen that film probably 100 times. What can the humans do but burn? So I loved that film. It was on Amazon. No, sorry. It was on YouTube for free. So I watched it. And I just can't watch it anymore. It's sad. What's this? The Tesseract is an Infinity Stone? Wait a minute. What's that stone inside Loki's staff? That's the Mind Stone? Wait a minute. If Thanos is trying to collect all the stones, got to collect them all. Why is he giving the Mind Stone to Loki? And why doesn't? Why were the Chitauri invading? I thought Thanos just wanted to collect the Infinity Stones, not conquer Earth, really. The reason to conquer Earth was to get the Tesseract, right? It's sad. It's sad what's happened. Everything you love, eventually you're going to live long enough for them to eventually take it away from you. And we here at Fido the Comic Strip like to keep a positive point of view at everything. So it's incredibly difficult to have a positive point of view these days, isn't it? Ruining that arrow. Okay. Actually, I need to go up there and dry. Let's do these characters. So this week's cottage industry seems to be talking about Alien Romulus. You remember that last week probably was to talk about Wolverine and Deadpool, and the week before that it was that horrible Star Wars thing whose name I've already forgotten. It was the one done by Leslie Headland, the former assistant to Harvey Weinstein. Leslie, no good, no evil Headland. Well, fortunately now I don't think we're ever going to have to talk about Leslie Headland again. Well, her career is where it should be. And I don't think we're going to be talking about Alien Romulus next week. I'll probably never end up seeing this film, but I'm pretty sure by the end of the week I'm going to know everything about it. Because, well, spoilers. We have YouTube for that. That's too bad. I really kind of hoped that Alien Romulus was going to be good. And now they got a TV show in the Alien universe coming up, and I'm worried about it. All right, this is Closet Cat. He's got one whisker on this side, two whiskers on this side, and we'll keep them both sort of up because he's saying, "Hey, looking good." Right, so, who was it? That was Freddie Prinze, right? He came up looking. That was his line, catchphrase. That was Freddie Prinze's catchphrase. Freddie Prinze, of course, from the famous show Chico and the Man. Freddie passed away while the show was after its first or second season. Which is too bad. Yeah, I'm gonna fix the camera a little bit here. Not that it really matters, but because I'm pretty sure this YouTube recording on the QuickTime is not going to come through. We're going to have to really rely on the cell phone this week. Okay, this is Felicia. She has 3 whiskers on this side and 4 on this side. Be careful, because we have a baluster in front of her. Those whiskers go behind that baluster. And just that bitchy, resting bitch-faced look in her eyes is what we're trying to convey here. 1, 2. They're very difficult for these cat characters to be told apart. I'm hoping when the chief colorist comes back, apparently she's coming back next Wednesday, so she might be here next week, she'll come up with a decent different color for the Closet Cat, so we'll be able to tell him apart easier. Besides the 3 whiskers to 7, he's got more tufts of hair here, and he's very thin and emaciated. But I revealed a little conspiracy in the other recording, and I'm going to try to reveal again here. In the naming of Closet Cat, you see my wife, the chief colorist, has a little bit of a speech impediment where she finds it difficult sometimes to use the C word in repetition. I discovered this while we were driving around and came across a veterinary clinic called the Classic Cat Clinic. And to save her life, she could not get that phrase out. She was a receptionist at one time. She would have to answer the phone. So she imagined being a receptionist trying to say, hello, Classic Cat Clinic, can I help you? And she just, hello, Classic Cat Clinic, she just couldn't say it. So I'm hoping, I was hoping with the naming of Closet Cat, that she'd have a hard time saying Closet Cat. Now, don't tell her, anyone out there, and I know the wife, the chief colorist, is not ever going to watch this show, so she'll never know what I'm planning here. But I'm hoping I'm going to catch her in a tongue twizzler. She won't be able to say Closet Cat quickly. Let's see if that works. Yeah, she'll never be able to say Closet Cat. And that is the entire reason behind the creation of the character. Just because I want to fuck with my wife. Oh, the ink seems to be flowing pretty well. Brush is working out. Last week I did a review, I guess you'd call it, of the brush, the Grabby. And to my complete shock and amazement, I have not been contacted by Grabby or given free brushes. Imagine my surprise after I completely trashed their product and said it was the worst brush on the planet. They didn't hire me as a spokesman. Oh, well. Maybe Big Tobacco will take me on. You can always hope. What the hell? Good thing we have tools here. No one will be seated for the pipe cleaning segment of the show. It's riveting. There we go. It's Fido the comic strip amidst billowing clouds of aromatic secondhand smoke. It kind of looks like a Disney park in the future. You know, with all the smoke in the background. Now Disney, I thought they said no smoking on the property. That's just all the money they're burning. So I visited Tom Sawyer Island when I was there for my honeymoon. I went to Walt Disney World in Florida for my honeymoon, and it was a quiet place you can go to get away from everyone. I kind of liked it. They got a really they've got a building there, and there's a cool optical gag that when you're standing in one doorway, the perspective lines are kind of skewed as you look across to the other doorway, and it's a cool thing. I don't know, but how many people notice it. But Tom Sawyer Island, and they had the Swiss Family Robinson tree there, and a bunch of other stuff. It was a nice place. I understand that it was underutilized. They probably should have put a ride there or something. And it was an unfinished part of Waltz Park. But, well, it's going to be gone soon, along with the rivers of America. I think that the turning Liberty area into, because, you can't have colonialist oppressors in the park, you're turning that into like a New Orleans thing. And I'm not sure if Disney realizes that the reason why we have New Orleans is so that women can show us their titties. And I'm not sure that's something that they want in their family park. They haven't thought this through. But whatever, Disney. Burn your park down. I don't care anymore. I'm just enjoying my life and drawing a comic strip, which I would recommend all of you do too. But if everyone out there was drawing a comic strip, as I've always said, we would all die cold and alone, freezing and starving in an apartment because nothing else necessary in life would ever get done. So leave this to the professionals. This is here just to make me happy. It's the funnest job in the world, and it certainly beats the hell out of stripping fiberglass shingles off of a roof the week before Christmas. Something that, one period of my life, that was sort of a yearly thing. Alright, let's get Felicia in here. I don't know why I bothered doing the hash marks there on the nose, but I know if I just painted a solid black, it'd look horrible. Paws up into little fists. You would think that a cat that has claws wouldn't use fists. But this is not really a cat, this is a cartoon character. See, a little difference there. Yeah, I like putting an extra shadow line underneath anything that goes across the body. See that? Hopefully that, let me show you in a second, that helps the arm sort of pop off of the page a little bit. See, something like that makes me happy. And why are we here, folks? To make me fucking happy, that's right. Don't do anything that doesn't make you happy. Words to live by. Alright. There we go. I originally always wanted to have his, like, jowls here a bit droopier. But, adding the droop does sort of add to the personality of the face. So I can't have him droop too much when he's trying to be happy. Okay, so we go Let's do her whiskers first. She has 1, 2, 3 on this side, and they're straight and kind of down. Now he is just drooping. They're like wet noodles. Just doesn't want to get beaten up. Doesn't know what to say. You look horrible. Yeah. Which is what gets him beaten up. I've got to use these as inspiration for writing next week. So maybe we can do a storyline where the closet cat is trying to ingratiate himself with Felicia. Not necessarily in a relationship way. Felicia doesn't go that way, if you know what I mean. Felicia's part of the protected community. So, and I really can't use her chosen sexuality as a joke. It can't really exist, really, to tell you the truth. So what we'll have to do is a storyline where he's trying to ingratiate himself with her, that she's sort of the boss around here. So in the hallway here, you remember that all the cats live downstairs on the first floor. I got them peeking through the doorway here. And I think it'd be a mistake if I tried to do that with a brush, because just the detail would be horrible. So I've got to think about how I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'm just not paying attention to this fire going on here. Constantly dig it out and get the ash out of the way. Get some air in there. So the show that we lost, that this was originally going to be called Nuthin, N-U-T-H-I-N. I probably can't call this one Nuthin because it's a different show. So we probably have to come up with another title. Oh, geez, what's it going to be? I don't know. Usually, my title is something that I write on the page. We've already talked about this looks like smoke from the burning of Disney burning all of its money. We might be heading in the direction of finding a title for this. What do you think? When inking, always try to start upper left, work your way down to the right. I happen to be right-handed, and that helps you not to smudge the ink. Hit the camera. If that's the third or fourth hit. So I think we've lost 4 of these shows thus far. I was going to say it was 10%, and now we're slightly above 10%. It may as well be as many as 5. Completely unacceptable. The show that we lost, Nuthin, was okay. Yeah. Nothing special. I'm really still stinging about losing one that was a couple weeks ago. I actually got a lot of really good drawing done. I'm not all that hurt at losing the original show. Alright, now we have to draw the closet cat here as if he's been beaten up. So my thinking was his jowls are flat there against the ground. The whiskers limp, coming down and also going off across the ground. He's got one black eye here. The way I do it is just circle it twice. They're half mask, and this is heavy lidded eye here. A little bit of sweat or blood dripping down here. Maybe a tear. And the mouth should have still a slight smile to it. And got little tufts of hair here. That's his ear. That's his other ear. And just, I guess his neck has been wrung, so he's got his fur standing up on his neck, back. Bony shoulder, very bony arm. Let's not forget the ribs. And the tail is flopped down to the side. Allow the brush to split a bit so it causes slightly extra lines, gives it a jittery look. You can kind of like. Alright, there's the horrible looking closet cat. So this page is going to have something to do with the title. Burning, smoking, Disney burning money. Fortunately, they only spent $80 million on Romulus, which is really good for them. Uncharacteristic, actually. Oh well, if anyone comes up with a title, just shout it out loud, I'll hear you. Yeah, put this one aside, and let's pull back the Friday with hopes that you got some dried ink here. Yeah, things don't look too bad. And we'll call this burning. Let's write that down just so you have it. Nuthin burning. Hey. As the pipe kept on going up, nothing's burning. Yeah, okay. Hey, we got the title. That came out of nowhere. The original one was called Nothing. This is Nuthin burning. So that's what Disney's going to tell you. There's nothing burning here. You know, we see the cameras keeps on 46 minutes. I am positive, just looking at the computer, that this thing is going to get corrupted, and we're not going to be able to save, and we're going to have to use the backup. Unfortunately, the backup seems to be working pretty well. You just don't have the zoom-ins here that Irving provides. What are the odds that I would lose both of them? I'm just not on my game. It wasn't a good week for me, I suppose. I just didn't get as much done as I should have. But even a bad week drawing a comic strip is fantastic, as opposed to doing construction or nearly any other job on this planet. Yeah. If I were to have drawn this again, I think I would have drawn the characters a little bit bigger. For some reason, I just want to do an establishing shot in the first panel, and they always end up coming up so small. Too late now. Like self-imposed deadlines, I just don't have time to redraw it. I'd like to have the entire week written and the dialogue at least on paper by Tuesday every week. That necessitates me getting the old work done before Monday. Monday's a writing day. And if you don't write anything, you can't draw anything. It kind of works that way. One, two, three. A few seconds, I'll show you a little special effect I do here. See, the Dino's black shirt has got to appear through the glass. The glass is transparent. But I don't want to draw all of that because that'll just make the glass disappear if it goes out. So I make it so you still see the outline of the glass, yet the blackness behind it. So there you go. You got Dino's shirt appearing through the glass. And a slight distortion is good because these are curved glasses. That special effect works better when you're closer. Something that small is just going to disappear when it's shrunk down. These comic strips are about 24 inches wide when I draw them, but for publication, it's like 5 inches wide is that. Part of the reason why I started using a brush is because when I was using a finer point quill pen, when the thing shrunk down, everything just disappeared. And it was wasting a lot of my time. So the brush was to encourage me to draw thicker, bolder lines, fewer fine lines, so that I had a chance of these things being visible when it shrunk down. I remember in art school, art teacher telling me, well, you're never going to be any good with a brush. And well, at that time, no, I wasn't any good with a brush. That's why you go to school, to get better at things. Mostly you're in school, you're judged on what you come into the classroom with, rather than what you're going to take away from the classroom. One, two, three, four, five, six. These characters were designed before I was using a brush. So the whole idea of the cross-hatching in the hair, which is a tribute to Robert Crumb, I almost stopped doing this because saying, this is a brush, this is stupid. This is not what you do with a brush. But I persevered, and now I can do it with a brush. Why do I do this? Because it makes me happy. Okay, the perspective, you see in the first panel, we're up top a little bit looking down, so thus you see more of an oval in the glass. Here, you're sort of looking, you're lower, so the oval of the glass is a little bit more oblique. If I were to draw a big oval on the top of the glass, it just wouldn't look right, as if the glasses were tipped toward you. Now I thought about putting Bo's hand here in a fist, but in his performance here, he's not angry. Yeah, he's just like, wait a minute. But it works better to put the fist in this panel. They're like, what's in it for you? Now you get the progression from wait a minute to anger. Whether or not Bo would ever be angry at Fido putting quick drying cement in the cat's litter box is another question. But these aren't plot holes, they're features. Maybe Bo does care about his job. You don't know. Henchman could be, his career of choice. No, we get another opportunity here to do that special effect with the glass, but you're not going to see very much because of the obliqueness of the actual oval. But I got to do it anyway. And why is that? Because it makes me happy. In this case, it's just a matter of barely doing a line. That's next to nothing. As long as something shows behind the glass, that's okay. Alright, let's draw out Fido. The cartoonist is getting hungry. Horrible, I gotta eat every day. I had duck last night. Not bad. Duck is like the perfect cartoonist food. That or rabbit. And that was a motorcycle going up the hill. I wonder if the camera or the microphone picked that up. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. And now the eyes go down a little bit. Suspicion. What was in it for you? Hope if I'm known for anything is that I try to make my characters act. Acting is really important for a cartoon character. most cartoonists just have their characters have like a blank look on their face, so it's just all in the writing. You don't care what they look like. They could be saying or thinking anything. Well, the tabula rasa, the blank sheet, is often a great idea. I like a little bit more. My thought here is with his arm, he's pushed the glass a bit, which is why you see more napkin here. And we are running out of ink. Oops, let's get a swap on that. Looks better. You know, we got nothing burning here. Let's do something about that. Yeah, that's okay. When I put these on paper, I suspected that nothing would be in the title, the word nothing in the title, because it's just something two different characters said in two different comic strips, two different storylines. Kind of an unusual coincidence. But I would have never thought that I was going to lose both recordings. If I lose both these recordings, I'm just going to give up till tomorrow. In which case you're going to get a very short, abridged show. As it is, this one's not going to go. Oh, it's already gone an hour. Okay. I didn't think this one was going to go go very long. And now let's do Dino's glass. See a line there. And that's it. Good enough. Bit of a smile on Fido's face. And I think it's important that his eyes be like really big irises. Like, you can trust me, look on his face. And I would have liked to have moved that Pepsi bottle off to the left a little bit. But if I was going to do that, I'd have to put Fido's hand on it, so it visibly represent that he had moved it between these frames. But I'm stuck with it now. It's like the straw is just about to hit him in the eye. And yes, Fido drinks Pepsi. Go figure. That's just his generation. And here's the last panel with the punchline. I'm going to draw the cat boss sitting inside quick-dried cement. Yes, it could happen. How did the quick-drying cement get into my litter box? And that's the whole reason why Fido took Dino's job for this week, was that so he could play a joke on the cat boss. Got nothing burning. Hey, that's the title, isn't it? Yes, it is. Now I'm trying to visualize here exactly how does the cat boss use his litter box. Such a way that would get him stuck into it like this. Maybe he brought a drink in with him and spilled it. I don't know. So this is Mia Park, as I said. She's a henchman exchange program from North Korea. I originally was wondering whether I was going to use her as a romantic interest for Dino, but in the character, he can't change. Dino's incapable of change, so he can't really pick up a girlfriend. He doesn't have a girl. That's how it works. That's the sort of I use the sitcom rules when writing this. It makes it easier to write. And I imagine it was very simple to write a sitcom. At the end of the show, you had to reset and bring everyone back to their starting positions before the next show came on next week. You couldn't have like Richie Cunningham lose his arm in a car crash. It wouldn't work that way. The Fonz in Happy Days had to get the girl in the end. That was it. So just like every Friday, they end up in a bar. It helps in the writing. But the only change in here is maybe a new character might appear from time to time. So it's an ever-expanding pie. Mia always wears a gun. Why is that? Because I think every woman should have a gun. And we are just about done here. There we go. Now, always remember to put the cap back onto your ink bottle. Try to, if you can, clean off some of the ink residue here because the shellac they put in here is adhesive. Well, I got nothing burning. So I think that brings another show to an end. I'd like to thank you for joining us for Fido Live number 110, I think it is. Hopefully, next week, number 111, will be the triumphant return of the chief colorist. She's been gone 4 months. There we go. Got something burning now. I'll see everyone next week. Goodbye to you on the QuickTime. And we'll do a little bit of additional content, perhaps, on the iPhone. Okay, QuickTime is out. You iPhone people are here alone with me. Let's see if we can. Let's see if this saves. Want to hang out long enough to see if this saves? I hate to lose another one. Call this Fido Live 110. Alright, let's see if that works. Let's set up for another thumbnail because I don't think I can reuse the same thumbnail from the one that we lost. Because, well, this is a different production. What I like to do in a thumbnail is have the card showing. I think we'll have to have this and this on the board. It's not really worth having Romulus. Romulus was in the old thumbnail because I spoke a lot more about Romulus. What do you think? It looks something like that. Well, see if the Disney thing. Maybe we'll tune into this color to try to for the letter. Yeah, thumbnail will look something like that. Worth pulling in anyone else here? Kasparov, maybe. Yeah. To help. Let's add some class to the board. We'll put Gary Kasparov somewhere up on the top. And I guess the thumbnail will look something like that. Alright, we're looking at 25 minutes for the save. It's probably not going to be that long. I don't think you want to hang around for 25 minutes now, do you? I give everyone who's watching this permission to tune out now. Because I'm not going to be all that much more entertaining from this point. We have fire going here. And I better go clean my brush. So if you're gonna hang out, talk amongst yourselves. I'm back. Miss me? Of course you did. We're about 10 seconds. Oh my God, is this gonna work? Does it save? 6. Cannot open. God damn it. Alright, we lost another show. Fortunately, we had the backup. I guess everyone's going to be seeing the backup this week. And if you're still watching this at this point, you are a committed viewer of Fido the Comic Strip, and I thank you. See you, everyone. Next week, perhaps we'll have the chief colorist.